Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carly Gillen, and tonight I'll be talking to you about divorce, some side effects it has on children, and also some common candidates for divorce. Now, coming from a broken up family, I completely understand how hard it can be not being able to see your biological father, and also having to call a complete stranger dad. But unfortunately for me, I had to learn how to just suck it up and deal with it and move on. But let's forget about that for right now. Let's just get into the facts. According to the Joseph Gutman research done over a child's emotional, social, and academic status, there are definitely some stronger side effects involving a child whose parents are divorced versus a child his or her parents are still married. Now, in this same research, there were 60 boys and 60 girls ranging from the ages of 13 to 14 years old who were monitored for a set period of time. Of all these individuals, the children with the broken up family, or i.e. the divorced family, were ranked less favorably than those children whose families were still intact. Now, thinking back on my life, when I was in 4th grade, I do recall having to be removed from a normal classroom to go to a remedial classroom because my learning capabilities weren't up to par with the age I was in. Unfortunately, there were no studies conducted on me back then to say why I was unable to learn at the same rate as my peers. But there may have been a good reason for that and for my learning disabilities. Now, a research over a child's mental health by Lisa Stroshine confirmed significantly worse mental health problems among children of divorced parents. The main disadvantages of those children were social inabilities. Now, back again to my disadvantages, I too had trouble socializing among my peers in my younger days. Now, as I got older, I learned how to get out there and mingle more and interact more. So it's not quite as hard for me, except kind of in speech. Now that I have discussed some downfalls divorce has on children, it's time to discuss the common candidates for divorce. Now, contrary to popular belief, it is the more older gray-haired individuals whose divorce rate has gone up. Most people think it's the younger, adolescent teenagers like to get married at 18, 19 years old that they end up getting divorced, but it really isn't. Now, Susan Brown and Lynn Finn specialize in this topic alone and have stated that the divorce rate between 1990 and 2010 has gone up significantly for people that are 50 years and older. In fact, famous icons such as Morgan Freeman ended his 25-plus year marriage to his wife, and he alone is 75 years old. Also, Danny DeVito, another famous icon who is 68 years old, just recently ended his 30-plus year marriage. Now, one of the most common reasons a married couple fights is over money. But with that being said, as I just previously stated about the famous icons, even money can't help multi-millionaires' marriages stay intact. So with that being said, it comes from within. It's not just money. Money can't buy happiness, like that whole saying goes. It can't buy happiness. You just gotta work. You gotta work and work and work on it. Lastly, a question that might be assumed is the question of religion playing a factor in a married couple's life. According to Larry Mullins, the religion aspect of marriage affects more so the careers of those individuals in that marriage than anything else. So another contrary to popular belief, religion just affects the careers, because when you believe in something, you usually have contacts that believe in the same thing and they can get you farther in your career. But I myself have known couples who have divorced due to conflicting beliefs and values. So with that being said, I would also say that, religion can play a factor, that if you don't believe in the same thing that your significant other believes in, then you might have some problems there. But all you gotta do is communicate, and it works. In conclusion, when you marry someone, you're promising them the rest of your life. But you also need to keep in mind that you may one day have children. And bringing children into this world, you're promising not just your significant other, but you're promising your children that you're going to work through all the hard times and the troubles and make it work. Now, also, the older you get, even though you might forget certain things, you should never forget how to treat your woman like a lady and never get too old to call her baby. Or you might just find yourself sleeping alone. Bottom line, coming from the past that I've come from and seeing the trials and tribulations that I went through, not being able to see my father, you know, and having that father figure, I am completely against divorce. I believe that, you know, if you promise somebody, then that's it. Now, if you marry someone, it's forever, not just for them. Everyone on this planet might have money and a nice career, but what do you truly have at the end of the day when you lay your pillow down, when you lay your head on your pillow and you're alone? Nothing. You have nothing but your word. And that word could just so happen to be that promise that you give to that one person, the one person. So when you make that promise last. Now, I'd like to thank you for coming to my speech tonight, and I hope that I kind of somewhat persuaded you in thinking not once but twice or maybe even 3 times on divorcing your spouse, because I really don't think it's worth it. There's too many disadvantages to it. Thank you. Have a good night.